Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. I'm Lukun Kamlenga here at New Lifestyle, and I have a very interesting guest on this show today. This is a moment where you guys will just want to take a seat, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee if you want, and this time around we're going to dive into one of the topics which can somehow for some people consider to be sensitive, but it's a moment for you guys that is going to be very informative because this is one of the topics which is rarely talked about, but these are issues that people face on a daily basis, and it's very important for us to actually examine and dive more into details and talk to some people that actually go through this situation. So with me today I have Crystal, from originally from Georgia in the Savannah area, but she currently lives in Alabama, and we're going to talk about what Crystal has been going through and bring it to light, because Crystal has decided to become a voice of reason on this particular subject. So, Crystal, welcome to New Lifestyle. It's such a pleasure to have you join us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's a blessing to connect with someone on a different level. I'm very blessed and honored that you chose me to interview me.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we started this, I was telling you that your story, especially to me, was very striking because, first of all, just your courage, deciding that you want to talk about this openly in the public, and not really being ashamed of what you're going through, but also just because I see your courage, being able to. I don't want to give away too much, so I guess I'm just gonna, kind of let you walk us through everything else. But to me, it was very striking, just to see that, and I just want to really, applaud you for that because not so many people come forth when it comes to certain issues that they deal with. So I like to tell interesting stories that I think people should know about. And on this particular subject, I'm not as informed as much as I need to be, and I think that's really where everything starts from. Is I believe by having a conversation, that's really how you know what other people deal with and going through, so that we can also learn how to apply it to our own lives. So, yeah, I really applaud you for that.
Thank you. It's not an easy job, but I carry the torch very well.
Yes. Yeah, so you say you grew up in Georgia in the Savannah area and currently live in Alabama. So what is it like just to, live in those areas?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a military brat. My dad and stepdad was in the military, so I was born in Alaska, but being a military brat, you do travel. So Georgia was our last stop. And unfortunately, my mother had lost her job last year. So when she said she was moving back to Alabama to be near family, I told my kids, okay, look, we're going to pack up too. And here we are.
I see that. So you're very family oriented.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's such a beautiful thing. My family is like thousands of miles away, way back in Africa, and I mean, I miss them all the time. So I exactly know what it is like, just to be surrounded by family. Like I'm the only one here, so
No.
yeah. Every time, like I'm always wishing that I wish I can have my family members. Just like you know, it's only a few moments that you go through and just like I wish maybe I can just go to my brother right now. But yeah, it's all good.
Right.
Yeah. So how you doing?
I'm pretty good. With this pandemic going on, you can only do so much and go places where you need to go. So I go where I need to go and I come back home. I do miss traveling. I do miss my friends. Of course, you couldn't spend the holidays together. If you did, you could only have a certain amount of, family members at the home. And of course, you don't know who they've been around, but just to have immediate family and thanking God that we are all still safe.
Right.
None of us has caught COVID, thank God. But just to see another day, we're blessed, we're safe. That's all that matters. But this year has been crazy, and hopefully and prayerfully, it'll get back to normal, where you can do certain things. Me personally, you will not see me going to the clubs. You will not see me going to bars. I'm at home. Mom! I'm at home with my kids where I need to be safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's always good for us to take all the precautions or the measures that we need. Just a few days ago, like I felt really bad, just because here in Kentucky, like the weather is always on and off. Like, one day it's cold, one day it's hot, and my nose was running and everything. So I actually took a COVID test just because, like, again, just trying to be safe. And thankfully, I got the results yesterday. I was just like, nah, negative. So I'm
That
like,
is so amazing. That is so amazing. I've had it done maybe like 7 times. I'm not playing around.
yeah,
If my nose is stuffy, runny nose, hey, you may say it's sinuses, but I don't care. Stick that Q-tip up my nose.
yeah, yeah. So, and for the viewers today, mainly Crystal is here because we want to talk about autism. And for people like me, you know, I kind of have an idea of what autism is. I think I might know like two people, that have kids that have autism, but I haven't really sat down with them actually to dive deep into exactly what it is. And for those people that I know, they actually don't really want to talk about it, you know. And that's why I told you that, for me it was very striking because this is not something that you actually not ashamed of bringing forth to the public. So I'll just start by asking you, and I did this on purpose because I didn't want to do so much research about it. Whenever I said, I want to talk to you, I just want to come from a standpoint of somebody who really is knowledgeable about this, so that those questions that I have might also help somebody else. So, what is autism basically?
Autism is a learning disability. You have moderate, mild, and severe autism. Um, with my two children, I'll start off with my oldest son who just turned 13 today. Happy birthday to you.
Okay.
These are some of the signs and the traits, but um, when I got my oldest son tested, he wasn't really talking. He wasn't really saying like a lot of words as a 2-year-old or 3-year-old should. He was really kind of held back. When it comes to loud noises, that's called a sensory issue. He could not stand loud noises. He also became a picky eater, meaning I may cook baked chicken, rice, and green beans, but he don't want that. He would rather have ravioli or macaroni and cheese. And that's okay. But sometimes when mommy cooks, I want you to at least taste it, at least try it to see if you will like it. But when it came to those signs, somebody else told me about autism. And I was about 20 going on 21 when I had my youngest son. And at that time, I didn't know what autism was. So when those signs are there, sometimes you could have a child that bang their heads. Um, like I said, sensory, they don't really talk. They're not forming 3 or 4 sentences or 3 and 4 words. So you go to their pediatrician and say, hey, I think my child has a learning disability. I want to get them tested. So what the pediatrician would do was send a referral to a psychologist.
Mm.
Psychologist is a specialist that will take your child in a room by themselves, and they have this little pamphlet of what your child can do, what your child can't do. And then once they are done with this booklet, they'll talliate all of the scores. And that's when your child will get a diagnosis. So that's when my oldest son got diagnosed with autism and ADHD, attention deficit disorder. So by that, I got everything lined up: speech therapy, occupational therapy, ABA is applied behavior analysis. So I got that lined up. When my youngest son was born, he was going through the same thing just a little bit, but he wasn't talking as much. He was very, very quiet. And what an autism child can do if they have blocks or certain toys, they'll line them up in a row or they'll stack each block up. That's another sign of autism. So I did the same thing to my youngest son. Miss Crystal, your youngest son has autism as well. So when I found out that not one son has it, two son has it, it's like, okay, what am I going to do? I have two children on the spectrum and they both have mild autism. I'm in some groups where children have severe autism, they break things, they throw temper tantrums. Those are signs of autism as well. And my kids don't have the severity of it, they just have the mild of it. So I had to educate myself and do more research of what I need to do as a mom with two children on the spectrum. And that's when I made, excuse me, my Instagram, excuse me, and my Facebook. Everybody knows my story on Facebook, but I said I'm gonna make my Instagram public because, like I said earlier, you have some parents who have children on the spectrum
Mm.
and they are, I wouldn't say scared, but they don't know who to turn to talk to
Mm.
about it. And they get frustrated because the child is acting out. The child don't want to listen. Johnny done wrote on the wall. Johnny done threw his plate on the floor.
Yeah.
You have some parents who are so stressed out. So that's what I did to make my platform open. So if you need somebody to vent to, now I'm not a doctor, but I can give you the ins and outs of what I'm going through as a single mother with two children. And I
Mm.
can tell you what to do and the resources to go to so you can get the help that you need as well.
Mm. That's very, yeah, that's very interesting. So, Crystal, in after you realizing that both of your children have autism, so like in what ways then did that change your life?
It affected me a lot. I wouldn't say I went into a depression. Well, I take that back. I went into maybe a little bit of depression because here I am, a single mother with two children on the spectrum. I have to go above and beyond my means to do what I need to do for them. And I would call any resources that accepts their medical insurance. Hey, look, I got two children on the spectrum, or I'll go to their pediatrician. Hey, look, I need to set this up for the both of them. And if their insurance covers it, okay, let's go. Like I tell any parent or any parents that have children on the spectrum, you have to find time for yourself first and foremost, because your plate is so full
Mm.
with their schedule and your schedule. You know, with this pandemic, you do have some parents that are working, or like me, you're at home. But
Mm.
we're doing virtual learning because my kids ain't going to public school. So we'll
Right.
do virtual learning. But when they go to bed, that's mommy time. I don't care if it's listening to jazz music, writing poetry, watching a movie. You have to just sit down and just relax. I don't care if you got to go to your prayer closet and say a quick prayer,
Mm.
because with everything that's going on, you can feel overwhelmed or have anxiety because it's too much. And I get that question asked a lot. Crystal, how do you do it with two children? And I
Yeah.
tell them up front, it's not easy, but I got God on my side.
Mm.
So until God blesses me, you know, to get married, and he accepts both of my kids under that condition, then until then, it's just gonna be us three. And I'm gonna carry the torch. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. That's that's what God gave me to do. And I remember praying to God and saying, all right, look, you gave me this job to be a special needs parent. I'm gonna use my voice to build a platform for the parents that don't know how to speak because they're afraid or they're scared to let the next person know, well, I have a child that has a disability. Autism children are very smart and unique. Very smart. Very smart. You just gotta reel yourself back in and take time for yourself.
Absolutely. And just to, I know I'm asking questions, but just to add on to that, because like I said, I've had an experience, with one person that I knew. I was actually at the church, and this the pastor's son actually, he has autism, but I was running the media, everything in the church, setting up everything from the cameras and everything, the soundboard, and I couldn't believe just how smart he was, because a lot of people would just look at it and be like, he has autism, he can really do this and that, but the level of comprehension and just how much reliable he was at operating everything, I was like utterly amazed. I mean, I was teaching him how to do everything, like literally everything. It got to the point where I didn't have to do it anymore. And, he was just like on task. Like, he knows his system, the way he was doing it, everything. I was just like, it was just like one of those beautiful things. It's like the way society will portray and picture people. It's like, it's literally not what it is. And it's one of those beautiful experiences that you also get. So I just thought that was interesting. Like you said, they're very smart people.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, you can tell them one time what to do and how to do it, and they take it and they run with it. And it's like, I didn't even have to come back and tell you how to do this. Like, you picked up just quick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So now, like, what's the support system like, especially when it comes to, I know you said, you're not married, and you would hope, until God, answers that prayer, and so forth. But what's the support system, especially when it comes to our African American community? Are most people really aware about, the issue of autism? And also, just like within family, do you feel like you get enough support that you truly deserve?
I have my mother's support and I do have my family's support, but I do everything. It varies to every blue moon that I get a break. The only break that I get is when they are in bed, and that's my time. When it comes to the community, you do have friends that say, "Hey, I support you," and everything like that. But do you really support me in what I'm talking about?
Mm.
There's a difference between I got your support
Yeah.
and I have your support,
Yeah.
meaning you're going to help me spread the word about it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between the two. But I do have support, but not like how it should be. I should be able to go to a family member and be like, hey, if you're not busy this weekend, do you mind watching the kids? I just need a night to myself alone where I could just unwind, relax, and just have the whole night to myself, child free. They could either say yes or they could either say no. It just depends. Or if your kids have godparents, you know, that good friendship where you know you can leave your kids with someone that you truly trust, then you can leave your kids with them. But that's if they feel like watching your kids.
Mm.
You do have some people in this world that be like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with your child, he's normal.
Mm.
Well, for one, that can send off a red flag to a special needs parent
Mm.
because you don't know what goes on behind my closed doors. Now,
Wow.
they are normal, they're just different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell my sons all the time, you normal, you just have a learning disability. And when your children get old, at some point, you're going to want to have that discussion. Do you know what disability that you have?
Mm.
How does it make you feel to know that you have this learning disability? I want to know from you. We're going to have a mother son moment or a father son moment. It's just going to be me and you. I want to know, how do you feel about having this disability?
Mm.
And just sit back and watch how your child tells you how they really feel.
Mm.
You could be a parent, but you also want to be your child's best friend too, because you want them to come to you and be able to talk to you about anything.
Absolutely. Do you have any fears?
My only fear is because my two sons are Black young American men, that I hope that they will not be a target because of what's going on in the society with police targeting our Black men. I would hope and pray that, God forbid, if something was to happen to me one day, that my boys know how to carry themselves. That's why, if you're a young parent like me, I'm only 32, you want to try to educate your kids on how to be young adults, because eventually they're going to face the real world. And like I tell my boys, don't be scared of a police officer, but if he pulls you over, you let him know up front, look, I'm getting my driver's license and my registration. There is no gun on me. There is nothing on me. That would be my only concern as they get older. Will they be able to survive in this world on their own?
Mm.
But that's any parent, especially if you have a child on the spectrum.
Yeah.
That that would be your fear. But you got to pray about it and know that God is in control.
Absolutely. So now I want to ask you, when it comes to socially, you know, have you had any of those moments to where like your kids are playing with other kids, and like what kind of reaction do they get?
I did have that with my oldest son when he was in elementary school about 3 years ago. and he used to be bullied, and they would treat him so different. They would pick on him because he talked different, or he stood different, or he did this differently. So as mom, I went to the classroom. The teacher gave me the floor, and I said, "Look, Nicholas has a learning disability. He's normal, just like y'all, but he's different. If anybody picks on my son, you're going to have to answer to me. He is friendly a little bit. He know the do's and don'ts, but that's just him. He's a friendly kid. He don't mean no harm. And you do have some kids that will look at them differently, the way they talk, the way they act. You have some children that do that. So you want to let your child know, like, look, if Katie says something to you, you come home and you let me know about it. And he used to come home and he was like, Mom, they picking on me, they bullying me. Okay, but let me go up here and get it straight. He even had an issue in middle school. And it's like, okay, we done went through bullying before in elementary school. Now it's happening in middle school. I don't want my son to be a target and he hurts himself, because you do have some kids that's not on the spectrum or can be on the spectrum, and they want to hurt themselves because they are being bullied. So
Mm.
do I either leave my son in this predicament, or do we move? We gonna move. And he's been happy ever since we moved. But no, you can't control bullies everywhere in the world. No,
Right.
you cannot. It's always a bully somewhere in the world. But if I have to step in, I'm gonna do by any means protect my child.
Absolutely. Yeah. And from what you're saying right now, I really have to really like I'm trying to, really like fight back, tears, and not just like be emotional, because we just have to go through this interview. But, you know, I don't know how you've done it at this point, but, it's, you're strong, like you're really strong. I haven't come close to somebody, who's dealt with that, with what you're going through. I was raised by my mom, myself, and just I know exactly what it is to just be raised by a woman alone, you know, and she raised like eight of us, by herself. But
Wow.
it wasn't it wasn't any of these issues that you have, to where you just by yourself, and it's like caregiving 24/7. You rarely have a break. Wow. And I know you deserve a lot more, and
It's a lot. Now I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. I've had my moments where I have cried to the pits of my stomach, but I don't let them see it because they're kids. But it's like, all right, like God, like my plate is full, but you didn't give your strongest battle to your child for a reason. You gave me this job, this task for a reason. Blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna keep fighting.
Crystal. So why, you know, did you really decide that you want to start speaking about this and talking to people about this?
It was time. It was time. I mean, I said it, when I was in my earlier 20s, I wanted to talk about it. At one point, Tony Braxton's son had it, and I tried to reach out to her, but that was like years later. But I said, this has to be talked about. And it's not being talked about whatsoever. So I'm going to start using my voice to bring recognition to autism. And if I could just help maybe one person, maybe two, maybe three, they won't feel alone because I'm going through the same thing with you. So you're
Mm,
not by yourself. You're not alone. If you need somebody to talk to or vent to, DM me, call my phone. I'm
mm,
here. Now I might be asleep, but
mm,
I'm here. I'm here.
mm,
And you know, when God said it's time, it's time.
mm. Now you had a chance to talk to one celebrity. I can't remember.
Holly Pete Robertson.
Halle Berry Robinson. What was that conversation like? And how did you guys actually get to connect?
She was on her Instagram live doing I think it's donation Tuesdays to her organization for her son RJ, because her son is autism. And she was talking to different mothers, but when I wrote in the comment, I'm a single mother with two autism children, I seen the little circle go around in circle, and it's like, oh my God, like let me control myself. Like this is Holly Robinson Pete I'm talking to. And I'm like, I used to watch you on, Mr. Cooper. And she was surprised that I'm a single mother with not one, but two. And, like she said the same thing, like, Chris, like, how do you do it? And, I told her what was what. And she wanted to keep in contact, but I'm pretty sure her schedule was busy. But just to talk to her, and she's going through the same thing that I'm going through, but I have two sons with it. It was just like, wow, like my voice is being heard, and I'm going to continue to share my story and let my voice be heard, because I'm going to get somebody. I'm going to
Mm,
get somebody. And I kept saying, I don't know who. I don't know who my story is going to reach. I don't know, whose lives I'm going to change, but it's time to talk. It's no time to be quiet no more.
mm. Well, I can definitely say, you definitely going to change lives. I mean, you've changed mine. We just knew each other today, and you really are changing lives. Like mine is the first life that has been changed because, just most of the time for people that are not going through what you're going through, right now, we sometimes forget. And I don't want to sound like insensitive, but at the same time, we forget just how blessed and easy, you know, it can be for us, and we complain about the little things that we might be going through and forgetting literally what challenges that people have. And once you see stories like that, it's like you look at yourself and you just like, what am I doing? Like what what am I doing? Like my life is not that hard. Like my life doesn't suck. Like it's time for me to actually put that energy into something more productive where it's definitely needed, and just sit back and appreciate also how easy I have it, because there is so many people out there that wish they can just take a break and just enjoy this moment right now. And just for that itself, it's like you really are changing lives. And for everybody who is watching, I think it is very important that with the support that you definitely need, that we can give it to you just as a community at large, because it is so much that you've explained and expressed that you're going through. And I don't know, you know do you feel like it gets any easy?
In due time, it can. Sometimes it doesn't. You just have to take 1 second and breathe. That's all it takes. It may get easy for some, it may get rough for some. It just depends on their life or their lifestyle. It depends.
Mm.
You can make it easy or you can make it hard. I try to make it easy as possible. I try to, at least. But
Wow.
it's always something in the back of my head, like, okay, something else needs to be done. Okay, I need to make this appointment. I need to make that appointment. Okay, excuse me, let me call this doctor. Let me call this doctor. Hey, I need a refill on medication. Hey, my schedule is busy for today. Can I cancel the appointment? Cause you get tired because you're constantly on the go every day. Every day.
Wow.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Wow.
It is okay.
Um, I think one another question which I had is just getting to understand more. Is it more of a like how is that condition developed in the children? Is it genetically inherited or like what really causes the condition?
Um, I got that asked when I had my youngest son because not only do both of my children have autism, they also have a cousin that's autism. Um, I tell the doctors I don't think it's genetic, but it could be. But it's only 3 children that I know of in the immediate family that has autism.
Mm,
Everybody else is fine.
mm. Okay.
So it could be, it could not be. You know, your first child could get it, and your second child could get it, but your third child will be fine.
I
It
see.
just depends.
Well, Crystal, I'm not gonna keep you any longer, and just with what you've shared so far, you know, and I hope we can actually have another conversation about this topic because it's
Oh,
one of
most definitely, most
yeah,
definitely.
like it's one of those things where like you just don't get enough because right now we can go on and on for hours and hours, and I feel like after having a conversation like this, it's time for at least for someone like me to really sit back and probably go back and listen to this conversation again and just begin to digest this information and really understand exactly the what you're dealing and going through so that I can know exactly how I can be of help. So for the people that are watching out there, what would you like to say?
If you need to reach out to me, you can on Instagram. It is Miss MS CECE 912 on Instagram. You can DM me. You can follow me. If you feel like your child or children is not speaking properly, they're not saying sentences like mama, dada, even when it comes to colors, get your child tested. It's no harm with knowing if your child will have a learning disability or not. And if you find out that your child is on the spectrum, don't feel like your world is crumbling down. Your child is smart, unique, special. Love them because they need you. Love, 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 love your children because they are going to need you the most. Whether they have, if they make friends or not, sometimes they make friends, sometimes they don't. But as long as they have mommy's love, daddy's love, or family love, it it puts a smile on their face. And when you see that smile on, even if you just tell them, I'm proud of you, that one word, I'm proud of you, it will brighten their day to know that someone is proud of them, no matter how many mistakes they made, that you are proud of them. And it's not the end. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel bad. To top it off, you did nothing wrong. Hear me out. You did nothing wrong. This is just a new task on life that you have to take, accept it, pray about it, and just go forward. And I'll leave y'all with that.
Crystal, it's really been a pleasure for you to come through once again. And, I would just like to say thank you so much for being a hero for your children. I think it's very important for us to recognize, heroes that really do it, because for the most part, people like to look up to celebrities, people like to look up to, politicians, and emulate these people, wishing that they can become, what these people in the spotlight are and is. But we forget that within ourselves, these people that we can actually rub shoulders with have so much that we can learn from. And we talk about people having superpowers in hero movies and all these things that we like, but you are a definition of exactly what that is. Like, being a hero and having superpowers is not about putting on a cape and being able to fly. This is being a superwoman, exactly what you had. It's being a Wonder Woman, and I just want to really, really appreciate you for holding strong and keeping it firm and going. And yeah, like, I'm so humbled, for you to even be open and sharing your experience. And I really, really hope, in my prayer and with the people that are watching, that we can be able to make your day, at least even just one day, special for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And again, this will not be the last. This
Yeah.
will not be the last.
Hey, you're always welcome to our platform. We would love to have you anytime, because you, like I said, you're a great example of exactly what we should be all about. So, yeah, it's definitely
Thank you.